What's going on, you guys? Charlie here from MA Performance, and today we're talking to you about a car that you may already know we have if you're following us on Instagram, but if you're not, I want to introduce you to our Acura TLX Type S.
Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets. Yeah, better move out the way cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked
Now, we've had this car for a little bit. I've been able to spend some time daily driving the car, and we've actually spent a little bit of time with this car on a lift because we went ahead and made a prototype catback exhaust already because, well, you know, you had to make it a little bit louder to start off with. But additionally, we went ahead and took this car up to the track with us a few weeks ago when we went to Brainerd International Raceway and did our modified driver's car of the decade. If you just want to watch that, check it out up here. So before we go ahead and show you guys how this car performed up at the track, I want to go ahead and talk about some of the unique things that I've found, at least, that have to do with this car. First and foremost being the fact that the front end of this car, given the release and preview of the prototype Acura Integra, is that a lot of it seems to pull from stuff that you can see actually on this car. The front grille, the headlights, some of the unique styling and lines, I think remind me at least of the Integra. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing to everybody out there, but I actually happen to like this front end. I didn't necessarily love the way that the Integra looked, but for some reason it works for me on this car. The next thing would actually be the fact that this car has some massive brakes. It is a really heavy car, so I'm not necessarily surprised to find out that it has big front and rear brakes. So I'm imagining that with like a simple brake pad and fluid upgrade that these brakes would do some serious damage in terms of stopping power for this car. So obviously under the hood obviously has a lot of plastic. First thing that actually caught my attention was this rubber silicone charge pipe that comes off to the side. I think I've actually already seen some people out there who have this car that have upgraded this to a mandrel bent coated finished pipe. Upgrading this to something aluminum would definitely be a positive in my opinion. I think it would help with some of the just deterioration that I think you'll get after a number of heat cycles in this car, especially if you're tracking it. Next, kind of moving over to this section of the car, the way that the turbo and the blow-off valve or bypass valve and intake are all integrated into each other here, it's kind of a headache in my opinion. For working on the car, I would go ahead and say that this is probably going to be one of those weird sections of the car to work on, just given all of these lines and hoses and things of that nature that come with it. Really excited to see how these cars sound, excited to see how we can help this car perform a little bit better. But if you wanted to see how the car performed, go ahead and check out this next section where we talk about bringing the car up to Brainerd and putting it through its paces. The first thing that we did was take this car and pair it up against some of our modified shop cars in the 40 to 100 roll race. The car actually did relatively well in comparison, considering the fact that it's nearly a bone stock car. In comparison to the other shop cars, it actually beat out our modified WRX and the modified Stage 2 STI. And then from there was about a full second gap between this car and our Civic Type R. So again, a 1048 is not bad by any means. Considering the fact that, again, this thing is essentially bone stock, I'm actually kind of surprised with the fact that it beat out some of those other cars. From there, we went ahead and took this car over to the road course, to which it actually also held its own pretty well. We're gonna show you guys exactly how it did here, and then we'll tell you the time after we've shown you the track footage.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna go out in the TLX Type S. I did a couple like really soft laps in this car last night. Like, I mean, if I was just gonna die on the first lap. I don't have super high or super low expectations. I'd say right in the middle. Like, the car is really, really heavy, so I feel like the brakes are gonna be a little sketchy, and the tire, there's not enough tire. I don't know, I'd probably put this like high middle of the pack, but I'm really, honestly, I think this is probably the most excited car. Like, exciting car to drive today from a perspective of, I've just never driven, I don't really know what to expect. So seating position feels really good. I'm excited to see how the transmission does in like this setting because it feels really good on the street. So I'm excited to see how it does. I'm a little scared that brakes and tires are going to be a little sketchy, but overall I'm pumped to drive this car. And I think it's going to do really well. We're in Sport Plus. We're ready to go. Got the seat coolers on. Goddamn. Luxury Sport. so we just got back, TLX Type S. It says that to slow down, I have reduced stopping power. I don't know what that means, but that's kind of cool. This thing, so much fun. Oh my God. I mean, it needs tires. Like the tires were absolute limitation. Brakes got really, really hot. Holy f, this thing was fun for a big body sedan. All-wheel drive worked really, really well. The car was really stable coming in and out of turns. Power-wise, transmission-wise, gearing-wise, everything felt awesome. I was liking this car, and now I love this car. For anybody looking for like a family sedan that's gonna be fun, this is it. Some wheels, tires. I was surprised at how much fun this car was. It's really heavy, so you can feel that. Brake pads and tires are absolutely needed if you're gonna come to a track day with it. For a bone stock car, this was like, honestly, if you watch the GoPro video, you're gonna hear me like giggling around turns because this thing was so much fun. Yeah, it was stable at speed. I mean, I wanna say we were doing like 120 into turn one, which like is not crazy, but for a 4,000 pound bass boat with a turbo, I would say that's pretty impressive. So I had a great time in this car. I would recommend this car in a heartbeat. This is so much fun.
All right, so referencing some of my notes from up at Brainerd, the track time is as follows. The car ended up running a 1:54:01. Comparatively, that's faster than the WRX. It's just a little bit slower than the STI. It's actually faster than our GTI did, faster than the Q60, slower than the Type R, and slower than the Supra. But from there, obviously, again, a 1:54:01 on a bone stock car with factory wheels, tires, suspension is relatively impressive. I think this car would have done even better with just a better set of tires. Again, driving it around, these tended to slip around quite a bit in the wet laps that we were able to do. But again, the car did phenomenally considering the fact that it's literally a bone stock car with an axle back. With that being said, obviously we have plans to make our own intake, downpipe, full cap back, axle back, as you guys have heard me reference already before, that's in the works. But if you guys are interested in seeing any other products, an intercooler, oil cooler, anything like that, let us know down below what you'd want to see us make for the car. Additionally, if you guys want to see us build this exact TLX Type S on our channel, go ahead and let us know down in the comments below. Give us a huge thumbs up on this video and let us know what you'd want to see done to this thing. I don't even know if there's enough of you guys out there to want to be interested in something like this. But if there are, let us know down below and we'll do something cool. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.